Good morning. We're going to get started so we can kind of get through the program and get you to our great lunch. So just want to start by thanking you all for coming today. Luckily, the weather was in our favor. Thank all of our guests, our VIPs, everyone's a VIP, our vendors, our board, and we'll talk about all of them a little bit later. At this time, I have to remember the instructions. At this time, that's the agenda. It's going to be brief. We'll have Andy Shapiro here to make a few comments. I'll go over the year in review, election of the board, dividend distribution, how we're doing that, lunch by the famous Lawrence Craig, and our open house with our vendors, which will start right after lunch. So again, that's our quick agenda. We want to get you to lunch and to the open house. So at this time, I'm going to ask that Andy Shapiro step up and say a few words.
Thank you, Andrea. It's nice to have the mic at my level. I'd like to thank our customers, shareholders, guests, and vendors. Thank you all for being here at our 2021 annual meeting. It's been a privilege to serve as your chair for another year. I have a tremendous amount of pride in this organization, both the people I get to work with at the board level and the WASCO team itself, who I think have done terrific things. 2020 was the year of COVID. 2021 has been the year of supply disruptions. Through both years, however, WASCO really has been the picture of stability. They've done a terrific job. And one of the things that 2021 has taught us is that I think WASCO is clearly about a whole lot more than just saving money. I mean, our supply chain really suffered no interruptions. And if there was an issue in terms of product, Andrea and the team resolved it. We didn't even know about it. So with all that we've read about everything that's happened in the world and in our businesses from our OEMs, I think it's quite amazing that we haven't been affected in terms of the products we use, et cetera, et cetera. It's really, I think, a commendation to Andrea and the team, and it's made me think about WASCO very differently and why it's so important that we continue to support it. It's just helpful to our business strategically. The last fiscal year has been a good one, and I think it's noteworthy in the fact that our revenue has stayed constant while vehicle sales in a lot of cases have declined, not profitability, but the sales themselves. And the number of products we've done, projects, has been reduced. So the fact that the business levels remain constant just shows how strong I think the business is. This is an exciting time here. I think the future looks bright from the reasons I've mentioned. And I also think that we're easing or being forced into the age of electrification. And I think, anything new is, possibly exciting. And so I'm sure there'll be all kinds of opportunities for us here that we haven't even imagined yet. So terrific time to be involved with WASCO. Very proud of the job that Andrea and her team has done. And I will turn it now over to Andrea to get us through the rest of the agenda and on to lunch.
Thank you. Thanks, Andy. We're going to come back to Andy and the board in just a couple of minutes. Anyway, that's our revenue since the beginning of time almost. No, not really. But you can see the stability that Andy was talking about. So although last year and our year starting September 1st, 2020, ending August 31st, 2021, we didn't have as many projects being fixed ops types of projects as we did in other years, mostly due to dealers not getting revved up or not having enough people, not needing the additional expense at the time. So mostly we stayed stable with shifting to things like PPE back in March of 2020. And then, of course, things started to stabilize a little bit more. We've also seen a great deal, I don't have to tell you this, of buy-sell activity. And through that, we've managed to, lose, which is not the right word, lose a customer, but gain a customer with another group perhaps. And this has been true all through the year. So, Okay, so our fiscal year starting September 1st, 2020, ending August 31st, 2021, we had revenue of a little more than 29 million. The patronage dividend that you'll receive today, if you are a stockholder, will be 7% of your particular spend for that period of time. The average the last 8 years was 7%, and we managed to keep that stable through last year and this year. The share of stock, and if you're a new stockholder this year coming into this new year, you're going to pay $6,874 regardless of the number of dealerships you have. That's the way things have been. So if you have a share of stock, it's now worth $6,874, up about 8.5% from where it was last year. The stock split in 2019, in case you're wondering why it dipped there. And we figured net, we have about 39 new customers. This week I'll be heading out to Long Island, which seems like I'm spending a good deal of time with David out there with a new group that we're kind of getting up and running, as well as all over the tri-state area. So just to talk about the state of business for a second, as Andy mentioned, price instability, we see that. Steel surcharges, these are not surcharges that we put on products. These are coming from our vendors. I can argue till I'm blue in the face. Mike can argue till he's blue in the face, but this is the state of the industry as it is in your business. Labor shortages, well, we're lucky because we haven't had any, but we do face those when we go out to buy products. Labor prices, we know that labor, you need to pay more for your labor to get people back to work. So this is just the way it is. Just kind of like you all, we face some of the same challenges, except ours are a little different when it comes to supplies. And I just want to kind of make this clear. When it comes to sourcing and supplies, that's Mike, okay? That's not my forte, that's his, and he's done an outstanding job with the rest of the team getting whatever we need. So when, one day we can't get something from someone, he's out finding somebody else that's going to supply that similar product. Because again, we're concerned with the price point, so we take it very seriously and try not to, when we can help it, to raise prices. Again, some of our vendors, when it comes to equipment like Hunter, Rotary, those are big items that are out of our hand, and it's what we have to deal with. So hopefully you'll see that we're remaining stable as we can. And as Andy talked about EVs, I'll just say that we've already been working on sourcing some products for electric vehicles. I happen to be at a convention this weekend with the New York State auto dealers. And I'll just tell you that we had some fascinating presentations. I'm glad to share with anybody that wants, particularly about the rate of EVs. Although the OEMs want us to believe, hurry up, you got to get those chargers in, you have to do all these things. The projections are so minuscule in terms of customer demand as opposed to political demand. So I know Andy's kind of been on that bandwagon for a little while, but we are right there trying to make sure we can source products, and if it's safety equipment or whatever you need for electric vehicles, as we see that happening. The other part of that, which I won't get into that discussion, is of course how manufacturers are distributing some of those products. So stay tuned. But if anyone wants a presentation, Len Belavia did an outstanding job and had some really very interesting articles and things to back up his comments about the timing of electric vehicles. But just to be prepared, we're putting in 2 EV charging stations here. They'll be in the front, and hopefully we'll get them in a couple of months with the new PSE&G program. I also just want to talk for a moment about new shareholders. We're always excited to have them, so you can read the list for yourself. I'll just touch on Infinity of Englewood, Flemington BMW, Bedford Jeep, and the Empire Auto Group, which is Michael Brown. And that's where I'll be heading out later this week, so we can get all of those stores up and running with us. So from a shareholder point of view, this is great news to us. Of course, from a net customer point of view, we've had more than these as new customers, but this is great to have new shareholders. I also want to just say that although you can't see it today, We've just finished a renovation in what is the back, we call it the back. And that's the accounting office, because we realized during COVID, it was kind of small in there for the number of people we had, as all of you have dealt with. So we flipped our conference room, and that renovation just completed. And I just want to say thank you to Frankowski Construction. I don't know if Joe made it today, but they did a wonderful job. I will tell you, they just did such a super job, and I've seen a lot of construction projects. They did really a yeoman's task getting things coordinated with other suppliers, and a great job. We also have some new technology in our conference room for video conferencing. Resound Technologies did that, and our architects was E+ Architects. Again, great architectural firm, so I wanted to give them a little thank you. So this is our website, and if you haven't been out to see it lately, this is just one of the pages. We updated it last year. It was somewhat painful to some of our customers who don't like change, but all in all, we're really happy about how it came out. Thanks to Manning and our marketing team who's here. Helen is here somewhere, and Stephanie. Helen is there. They've done a great job helping us think through, what our landing pages are, what we needed to do in terms of analytics. We're about to start what we're going to call phase 2, hopefully early next year, if I can get our software company to answer, which is a challenge I'm sure you all face. We're going to hopefully open our website next year to what we'll call guest customers. So those will be people that aren't current customers. They're not going to be maybe auto dealers. They're going to be just random customers that are going to buy from us. So why is that important? Well, the more customers we have that aren't stockholders, the more that profit, if you will, distributes to everyone else in terms of your dividend. So we like those guest customers, particularly ones that we can collect the money right then from and hopefully ship to them, and some of the other things we're looking to do with our new website. We're also going to be moving to another technology program, if you will. It's called Cash Collect. So instead of me calling, and I'm not going to name any names, Frank, but instead of me calling wondering when we're going to get paid, we're going to have, and I'm teasing him, we have a system that's going to automatically send out emails, reminders. You'll be able to get invoices, or your folks will, off our Cash Collect website. They'll be able to get statements. So, the excuses, well, it wasn't approved. 2 months after that, I get a little tired of hearing that, because I'm worrying about you getting paid your dividend. So any dollar, and we've been very lucky, if this is wood, I don't know, but Steve, our accountant, can vouch to that. We have written off, if any, very little in terms of bad debt, because we're relentless, and the young lady that really heads that, Cheryl, sitting out at the desk, she's done a great job, and she's very good at it and very professional, and we understand the challenges you all face, but we need that cash flow to be able to spend our money when Mike gets the chance to buy, and you might, when you walk through, you'll see some, tons of gloves, or if it's brake clean. The only way we can do that is to take advantage of special buys. That means we need cash, right? So we need to collect on our payments, pay us on time. I said I'd come back to the board of directors, and starting with Andy, I just want to say, as the chair, Andy's just a delight on so many levels to work with, because we just talk about a lot of very interesting industry things, and it's always kind of a challenge to think through some of those things, and for me, I particularly enjoy that. And he's been terrific. He's always available. He's always proactive. And the rest of our board through all of this has been terrific. Everyone's been available for us. They give their input. Some of the ideas are great and thought-provoking, but at least we get a chance to have a dialogue with people that really understand our business. So for all of you, that really becomes super important. So a huge thank you to our board, who's all over the place. But if you want to raise your hands or stand up, whatever, but you'll get to see them. So obviously Andy Shapiro, Judith Schumacher-Tilton, Bill Brunner, Scott Sr., Michael DeSilva, Ron Jaffe, and Michael Critchley. So, and you'll see up here next to their names, we're going to talk about that in a moment, and their positions on the board. But again, especially Andy and his guidance through COVID, because like anything else, there's some challenging things, and sometimes you just need someone to talk to about it that understands kind of what you're going through. So at this time, I'm going to ask Andy to step up, because we're going to ask to do the election of the Board of Directors.
Thank you, Andrea. First, thank you to the board. It's a pleasure working with you, as we have for another year. I would ask, is there anybody who would ratify the slate of directors? Or if there's anybody who would, oh, okay. Thank you very much. So we're ratified. We look forward to serving you for another year. I would also at this point ask that if there's anybody who would like to join the board, we'd like to add a couple of members. And I'll make two comments. One, it's a terrific group of people. It avails you of extra insight, more people to talk to. Andrea's fun to work with. She has her pulse on what's going on. So from an increased knowledge and involvement basis, particularly as our industry evolves, I think it's a terrific organization to be part of. And I will also commit that it won't be an enormous amount of work. We've been very successful holding meetings by Zoom, so it's not an enormous time commitment in terms of travel. And this year we'll have a couple of social events just so that the board interacts at that level as well. But please, if anybody would like to join this group, talk to me, any board member, or Andrea. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Andy. So let me just get through the last few slides here. So we want to save you money. That's what WASCO's been historically about. We have programs, and I know the guys are here from Cartridge Exchange. It's a managed program for you so that cartridges have become so volatile in pricing in cartridges. So this is a great program. We use it here. I used it when I was in the retail car business. The dealers that use this program love it. You'll never run out, the busiest Saturday you have in finance, and all of a sudden, I don't have a printer ribbon, although I don't even know if you use printers anymore. But I'm guessing that sometimes you still do. We have Document Solutions. We have a program for copiers. We've been very successful with that program, and that gets really tricky, as you well know. I hate when our copiers come up, the lease comes up. It's like worse than a car lease to me. American Wear, uniform rentals, and I have plus. They're great people to work with. I know many of you in this room have already a program with American Wear with us. If not, please check your uniform contract. And one piece of advice I always give, regardless of when your contract is up, first of all, make sure you have a copy of it, because probably you didn't sign it. When you get a copy of it, see what the termination clause is, and if it says, automatically renewals, immediately send a termination. They will not kick you out, okay? You need to put them on notice before that rolls over. I've been to court, you will lose. U.S. Coffee, beverage service, they do a great job. We have a brand new in our conference room, a great new coffee machine that'll be very exciting when we actually start using that room. So again, we're here to help you save money, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Also, they didn't come from Iowa today, although she's been here historically. Our finance company, Great America, we do have various programs, and I know a lot of dealers will say, oh, well, interest rates are like near zero. Why am I going to pay 5%? Well, my answer is simple. Cash is king. You always want your credit lines to stay in place. Finance your equipment. If you finance and it's 5% and your payment's $1,000 and the equipment's making you $10,000, you tell me what the math says. So I'm very curious that anyone wants to talk about why they don't want to finance, okay? We have programs. We also know that this year particularly, as it might have been last year, tax planning, buy the equipment, and buy it now because there is a wait for some of this equipment. We're going to show you a little bit more of that in a minute. Okay, programs to make you money. So we have Auto Action here, great. They do leather, they do roofs, they do truck beds. Not that you're not making enough gross, because I know that you all are, but it's still a great program. So if you have a used car that may have not leather seats and you want to add some profit to the bottom line, see Auto Action. It's a great company to work with, and they do really great work. WeatherTech, another great company. First of all, it's made in the US, all their products. They do make good Christmas gifts, even though they spend millions of dollars on commercials. And I know some of you say, well, I have to use the factory program for floor mats. You don't have to do that. You have to do enough to make sense. However, WeatherTech, through us, you will be able to pick up some additional money. And I know I love those mats, and I don't use the OEM mats. I use WeatherTech mats. BG Products, Service Lane. Again, if it's something you're not doing, it's a great time to start doing something with them. I know I got educated on this many years ago by a man named Ron Jaffe, who explained to me what this was and why we had to do it. And since then, I've been a believer. So again, BG's here today. They are world-class products in Service Lane. So you definitely want to, talk about that. At this point, we have almost 40 vendors here today. So after lunch, please do me one favor for 2 minutes, if not. Just walk through and see those vendors. We would really appreciate it. We also have some things going on back there today in terms of specials that you will not get tomorrow. You will not get by calling us. You will only get them here, okay? So I want to thank some of those vendors. We have New Pig, and I love New Pig. They have the greatest promotional stuff. So I don't know where Doug is, but he's somewhere. Oh, there you are. Did you bring any fun pig things? Oh, okay. Okay. Worth, we have Worth, another great partner. And some of you have Worth through your OEM. That's fine. You're going to do that because it's important. Some of you don't. And that's where we'll come in helping you with Worth. WB Mason is our great office supply, office furniture partner. They'll be here today, and again, they've done a great job, especially through COVID, because they do deliver for us when you order from products through us from WB Mason. We have Doman Inventory. If you didn't know, we do inventories, and Ron Doman is here probably, or his people somewhere. We have Elite Extra, which is kind of they're not really a vendor through us, but Brian's here today. We know Brian from kind of another life. And you need to stop by and see them because I think they have an interesting software product. It's not something that's going to replace your ERPs or anything like that, but it's going to help you in terms of your parts department. We have PDX, that's our delivery partner. They're here. Acme, ProCut. You all know that name. I don't have to tell you who they are. They're here today. Emerald, Hopkins, Legacy, Mal, Thermoid. We have Vaporizer, Extra Seal, Microflex, big name for us. Dade, which is Imperial now. Shepherd, Slip and Grip, Gojo, Baco, Medco, Prime Lube, our bulk oil partner. ECP, another world-class name. CRC, Kent, and Caba Ilco, or Polk now. So again, if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I hoped I didn't. But we have a lot of vendors here. That's the point of that list, is just to please stop by, take a quick run through. It won't take you long, right after lunch. Okay, projects. So we did complete some projects. These were really in the making. So when I said earlier we didn't have any projects last year, we completed a couple of these. Healy, a great customer of ours to work with. And also Ramsey and our very good friend Frank Minervini, who has tortured me day in and day out for years. But we love him. Anyway, part of these projects involve rotary lifts. We know that's been a challenge in terms of the length of time to get a lift. Don't wait till you need one to get one, because you might wait 130 days, okay? And that's out of our control. Yeah, there are other lifts out there. We don't represent any other lift but rotary because we believe that is the best bet for our customers. We have some projects going on. They're in the pipeline right now. We didn't put the names up there because we don't have signed agreements, but they will probably take place in these next few months. So at this point, I'm going to show you something if you haven't seen. You need to look at this. Just pay attention for 1 minute. Jim, you can go ahead and roll the videotape, as they say. So I don't have to tell you who that was since it's said, but Hunter, if you don't have the latest Hunter Quick Check Drive, Quick Tread, first of all, I know when I first came here, I loved, Mike Derrick calls someplace here, I loved the side slip meter, which was way back before this, because I just saw the potential to make money in the service drive and things that some customers needed. First of all, to help their gas mileage. Who doesn't need help with that? Tire wear, big part of that, right? Selling tires, tying yourself to a dealer to a customer for life. I was up at a dealer in Rockland County, another group, a couple weeks ago, and he was one of the early adopters of Quick Check. And he just had brought into his office these 3 huge TVs, like almost that size. And he said, oh, the general manager wants these posted all over the place. He wants more TVs or screens so people can see what's happening in the service drive and see where their vehicle is and whether they have tire wear. I mean, this is, if you're not using a Quick Check piece of equipment, and the Hunter folks are here, John Bookstaver, Mike Derrick, maybe Tony, you need to talk to them, because forget the price. You cannot look at the price. It's not, first of all, it's not expensive for what it is, but more importantly, that's real money to the bottom line and a customer service. If you don't have one in every dealership that you have, you're missing the boat. Honestly, you are missing the boat. And this is the year, folks, because I know you have the money. You need to step up and get this equipment, because this is critical to what happens, because when, prices start normalizing, you get supply of cars, interest rates start going up. I've been there too many times. You need something that's going to help you with additional profitability. And this is the real deal. So Hunter Quick Check. Of course, car washes. Who doesn't, what customer doesn't want their car washed today? So we have our friends from Broadway. Again, state-of-the-art equipment. We don't deal with anyone else. That's the car wash we recommend. And certainly they're a great partner of ours. Also, if you wanted to see today, we have a high-speed door we put in about 2 years ago in the front. We can certainly demonstrate it for you. We have a dealer right now. We're putting a couple of these doors in for them. Again, if you don't have high-speed doors, you need to look at that. Not only what it saves you in heat and cool, and they're just wonderful doors. Okay, so I'm going to move on. So we have had some personnel changes. It's always painful in some respects, but these were not something that's painful, because they were really great for the people, and well, certainly the one person involved. So I'm going to start with the second. It's a great addition. We have 2 great additions. I'm going to start with Elizabeth Kennelly, who's here. I know I saw her. She's helping us out in terms of business development and customer engagement. So you'll be seeing and hearing from Elizabeth, and we'll be doing a lot more, trying to, again, make sure that you all know all that we do. So then I'm going to move to This was kind of a sad thing, but it's good for the person. So Paul Gagliotti, or Paul, decided to retire, well deserved. And I know you're somewhere. Where did you go? You're there. So Paul, I'm going to hand you this because the next slide will explain it. But this is a little thank you from us. And Paul is here with his lovely wife, Maurice. But Paul decided to retire August 31st. I'll remember it always. I know exactly where I was when I was talking to him those days as he was getting ready to leave, because I was actually on vacation. And I sat there and just pondered for a little bit. You know, this was great for him. He's done a terrific job for us. Most of you know him. But fortunately, fortune took a good turn for us. And Joe Sibilia, who was on our board, thanks to a buyout by Lithia of Planet Honda, Joe decided he really wanted to do something a little different. So we kind of convinced him that this would be great, because this is what he's done in life, a lot of. He's very good at a lot of things. But so Joe stepping into Paul's role, handling new buildings and equipment. So Joe is here. I think most of you probably know Joe, not to mention that he has very good dealership experience. So he's not only a great person for the job, but also knows what you go through. So again, I said that, you know, when I handed Paul I actually didn't think what's in the box was going to get here in time. But this is what it says. Retirement is when you stop living at work and start working at living. So Paul, we wish you too a great retirement, and I know you have a lot of things and a lot of talents and a lot of things you want to do. So again, thank you for all the things you've done for us. Okay, so to wrap up, of course, Andy said it, I wanted to thank the WASCO team. And we're going to do this a little differently than we've done in the past. But of course, I could not thank Mike enough, because he keeps me sort of sane in terms of, you know, when I get on my crazy idea wagon, he sometimes brings me down to earth, but always backs my play, and that's really important. So, and Michael is, believe me when I tell you, he's the lifeblood of what happens here. I don't know if the guys are Giovanni Mamalejos, Freddie Fland, some of these names you might know. Lorraine Walsh, who's been here since she was 2. Lorraine is not here today. Her mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she's caring for her mom right now. We have Gail Pizzo. Gail was here directing traffic and stuff. Gail does a great job assisting and with Joe and Paul, and most of you probably talk to Gail. She's terrific. She knows certainly more than most of our distributors probably know about the things she knows. Colleen Gray, our accounting manager, who I think is sitting at the desk. We have Cheryl Tabuloff sitting at the desk, Robert Guerrero, who does some accounts payable and receivable for us, Matthew Allen, and I'm not naming all of them, but we wanted to ask you to thank them, because these are the folks that were here every day during COVID. We have everybody vaccinated. They never hesitated. Everybody here stepped up when we asked them to. They never took advantage. They were never out. I mean, they were out, but you know, not for, luckily, we were very lucky. But we had everybody here, and we can't ever thank them enough, because they've done a great job for us, and they're really the people that make this work. So without them, we would not be where we are. So guys, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you. And then, yeah, Michael's screaming, get back to work. And then, of course, we have our client managers, Carol Lamb, who I know Carol's here, Rick Stein, David Rothman, if you can raise your hand, Doug Tribal, Richard Carcian, I know that guy. And of course, I mentioned Joe Sibilia. Joe is right here. And hopefully I didn't miss anybody, I hope. Okay, you giving me the thumbs up? Okay. Anyway, moving on, but before I do that, I see one person here that I'd like to ask. I'm honored that you're here, Jim. You always have something to say. So, Jim Appleton, I think you know this man. I'm very honored that he's here. And really, I'm very honored that you made the trip, but.
Don't be ridiculous. I'm happy to be here. Congratulations to WASCO for another great year. NJ Carr and WASCO are sort of kindred spirits. Both organizations exist solely for the benefit of the dealers, to try to advance your interests. Andrea and her team here on your products and services, NJ Carr on the legislative government affairs arena. So, Andrea, congratulations to you and your team for a great year.
Thank you, Jim. And I just want to say I was fortunate enough to attend the NJ Carr event, which was really wonderful this year. It's always great, but this year it was well attended, always great information. And Jim, thanks to you guys and Gail's back there and the energy program, we've got Donnelly putting in those 2 electric chargers for us because they were a great, they're really good to work with. So again, like Jim said, it's always great to have that synergy, if you will. So at this time, we're going to get wrapping, and Michael's taking the envelopes out. Could you just get Colleen to get we need the bucket with the tail. We're going to draw for the prizes. So we have 3 draw prizes today that'll be given out in this part of the meeting. We have other prizes later in the open house for any customers that come just for the open house later. So we're going to get that, give those out, and then we're going to be ready for lunch. I'm going to suggest that you definitely stay for lunch. It's a great lunch. Lawrence Craig does an incredible job. And I think you will not want to miss the lunch. Okay, so Andy, draw for, this is for a $50, wait, these are the wrong ones. These aren't the right ones. Anyway, this is a $50 American Express gift card.
And the number is 192020.
Okay, Frank.
Oh, seriously, here.
I should have waited for the big one.
Okay, Frank, we will be reaching out to give you your prize. Put $50. Okay, the next one is for a $100 American Express gift card.
Cheap WASCO pens. Let's see. Frank, what number do you have? 191992. 191992.
Well, you have to be here.
Oh,
Is Ron?
it's another fix.
This is $100, Ron. Congratulations. And the last prize is a $500 American Express gift card.
One 9199. Steve, what number? E.
That's a lucky row. Okay, $500. Congratulations. All right, just 2 housekeeping things, and then we're going to break for lunch. Lunch will be obviously in the tent. We think it should be warm enough by now. As I said, we have a great lunch. Seating is open, so you can sit wherever you would like. We have Lawrence Craig doing the food today, and believe me, he's a great caterer. After lunch, we will have the dividend checks. As you leave, please stop by the desk, and the young ladies will have the dividend checks for any stockholder that's here that we knew was coming. We pulled those out. We have some goodie bags also. And there are beautiful flowers on the table, so my suggestion is that at the table, you find maybe the nearest birthday, and whoever that is can take those flowers with them. So again, thank you so much for everything that you've done for us, and thank you for being here. And we hope you have a wonderful year. And enjoy the lunch. And please, please, just for a couple of minutes, stop and see our vendors. And also our vendors, we've invited our vendors to lunch because this is really also a thank you to them this year. We didn't ask them to sponsor anything. We just wanted to thank them for their support in these last 18 to 20 months. So thank you, enjoy lunch, and this beautiful day.